Hi, everybody, and welcome again today to another WinPure's weekly webinar. Today we have something very special for the audience, and we appreciate you joining. For those that don't know, my name is Ben Cutler, and I'm one of our solutions specialists here at WinPure. A quick reminder is that we're hosting these weekly webinars typically to cover very specific topics, generally geared towards product training or product introduction, but every once in a while we'll be interviewing guest speakers regarding some of today's hot topics, systems implementations, master data management, 360 customer view, things like that. We hope you'll join us when you can, or keep your eyes out for the recordings if you can't join us live. Quick note is that everyone on the webinar is muted, but feel free to submit any questions through the question box on the control panel, and we'll start answering those questions at about the 15-minute mark. Today, I'm really excited to introduce Ozana Popescu, CRM IT leader and product owner with the Maxeda DIY Group. The Maxeda DIY Group is a leading multinational do-it-yourself retail group, transforming its $1.5 billion business to become a leading digital, innovative, and customer-first organization. Ozana, I'm really excited to have you on today, and I know that it's hard to find time for things like this, so thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. No, it's really an honor. It's always a pleasure. And, you know, I'm excited to hear your stories, so I really appreciate it. I've asked you on today because over the last several years, Maxeda has been investing significantly in a variety of transformative initiatives. And you, Ozana, have a pretty incredible story to tell. You've had tremendous success leading a very complex CRM migration project. And I think that your story is one from which we can all take away some very important insights. So today's hot topic, or today's topic, is digital transformation, innovation as a service. So before we get into the Maxeda story, let's start with the basics. What is digital transformation? So to me, this question is important because there are lots of different definitions around the concept of digital transformation. I think the following quote is seemingly one of the most appropriate ways to define the concept. Digital transformation marks a radical rethinking of how an organization uses technology, people, and process to fundamentally change business performance. This quote comes from George Westerman, MIT principal research scientist and the author of Leading Digital, Turning Technology into Business Transformation. Now, Luke Rostenberg, manager of digital for Maxeda DIY Group, was quoted in an article offering the following description. Luke says, "In my opinion, it's about embracing the fast-paced, changing, experiential, learning-based, highly automated world that the possibilities of online technology has brought us in the most efficient way for the company." I think that's really powerful. Klaus Schwab, the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, asserts that there are actually 4 distinct periods of industrial revolution throughout history, including the one that he says we're beginning right now. Schwab describes an industrial revolution as the appearance of new technologies and novel ways of perceiving the world that trigger a profound change in economic and social structures. Interestingly, this runs parallel with what some might refer to as the information age, which Wikipedia says is characterized by a rapid shift from traditional industry to an economy further based upon information technology, and to a period in which human work, play, and interaction patterns are fundamentally affected by systems for processing and distributing information. So you see, folks, digital transformation doesn't require a declaration, and it's not an isolated event or initiative. Digital transformation is no longer a future state or something to reconsider next fiscal year. Digital transformation is here and now. It's what the customer expects, And it's what's empowering such disruption in more traditional and established business models. We are currently living in an age that requires organizations to think about innovation as a service and to think about transformation as the new business as usual. So now that we've established that we're living in an age of digital transformation, the next question is, why digital transformation? Why should we invest in digital transformation? Well, the critical nature of this transformation is really twofold. On the one hand, there are considerable financial incentives for organizations which are able to quickly and effectively adapt this transformation. But for those who don't, they're likely to become irrelevant in tomorrow's marketplace. Customer and stakeholder expectations are evolving at an unparalleled rate of change. Competitive disruption is happening across all industries. The old ways of operating are quickly becoming cost centers. I've actually seen estimates as high as 70%, but in my mind, nearly all organizations are undergoing some sort of digital transformation. The real question is, how much of a priority is it? And is it a top-down culture of innovation? So the winners are thinking about innovation as a service. The winners are effective in cultivating cross-disciplinary collaboration. They are customer-focused. They are willing to invest in the right people, technology, and processes to pursue innovative, value-driven service delivery, new business models, and new revenue streams. Let's take a look at a few examples. Kaiser Permanente has transformed itself so that 52% of the more than 100 million annual patient encounters are all virtual visits. General Electric has integrated sensors into its aviation, transportation, manufacturing, healthcare, and energy production businesses. And they also created a software to analyze the resulting data. Now, interestingly, its software and services business made about $6 billion in revenue in 2016. Capital One is currently conducting over 80,000 big data experiments annually, which is resulting in an 87% improvement in customer retention and reducing the cost of customer acquisition by 83%, and all of that in just 2 to 3 years. AGI is using machine intelligence to automate its IT ticketing system, resolving more than 140,000 tickets annually without the need for any employee involvement. This is pretty impressive stuff. Now, the Maxeda DIY Group is investing heavily in transforming its business into a leading digital, innovative, and customer-first organization. They've integrated digital staff into every area of business. They recognize that digital is one of their growth engines. In addition to the CRM migration that we're going to hear about today, they've also recently implemented a new product information management system, a new enterprise resource planning system, and a new mobile-first Wi-Fi platform to pursue their underlying goal of achieving a single customer view in an omni-channel environment and to optimize the customer experience at every touch point. So these are just a few of the stories, just a few of the forward-thinking market leaders which have embraced the transformative times that we're living in. But let me go ahead and turn this over to Ozana so she can tell her story about the CRM migration and about life at Maxeda. Ozana?
Yeah. Thank you again for inviting me, and let me just start by presenting myself and saying a couple of words about Maxeda, our mission and our challenges. My name is Ozana. I'm living in Belgium since 10 years, and I'm working for Maxeda since almost 2 years. I am a CRM Product Owner, part of the digital IT team. My focus area is the customer, with everything that goes around him: experience on the website, profiling, loyalty, retention, communication with the customer, targeting, etc. So I joined Maxeda because I was attracted by its mission, but also to create a new CRM solution to help reach the company goals. But first, who is Maxeda? As Ben was mentioning before, Maxeda is the biggest DIY retailer in the Benelux area. We are covering 3 countries with 5 brands: Brico, Brico City, Brico Planet, and in the Netherlands, Praxis and Praxis City. We are having around 400 shops and the yearly revenue of 1.4 billion euros. We have a 99% brand recognition, and our mission is to be there for the makers. To be there for the makers, meaning to be there for our customers. So with such a mission, it's almost obvious that we are concentrating all our efforts to put the customer in the center, to better know the customer so we can better fulfill his needs with adapted products, accessories, inspiration, and services. So that is not only to sell more, because like every business, we don't forget about revenue, but also to build a relationship with our customer, to follow him through his lifetime, to help him with his daily challenges, like moving into a new house, creating a new baby room, renovating his bathroom, garden, and others. So for us, our strength is the shops, but we are also growing our business online. Our website is helping customers find information about products, getting inspired, and buy on the channel of their preference. In shop or online, have the product delivered home or reserved online, and being able to pick it up in the shop of their preference. We are the leader in the Benelux area on the market, and we cannot preserve our leader position and offer this level of service to our customers without state-of-the-art technology, a scalable platform, continuous deployment, and constant innovation. So I would say yes, innovation as a service is in our genes. Many companies, like Ben was just stating, many companies are going through different levels of digital transformation because they think this is the way to survive on the market. But for us, the market is ever changing, and we don't need only to survive on the market. We want to grow and to maintain our leader position. So to be able to do that, we need to be ahead of the wave. As a company, in my opinion, you need to innovate constantly and constantly transform your business and your brand. That is not possible without a solid technical platform. That is why we built one for CRM, and I will explain a bit how and what were our challenges. We were facing the same challenges as every company in retail, like higher business complexity, fast-moving industry, very product-centric, heavy dependence on discounts and print, transaction-based, not a real relationship building with the customer, limited services, and so on. But we also had specific challenges for our company, like our processes that were built around the stores, our previous loyalty program, limited knowledge on the customer, using traditional mass marketing tactics, and new GDPR regulation. So those are a couple of challenges that might seem familiar to most of the people that are working in retail or that are working in a similar area as mine. What we did to advance was to look at the customer life cycle, and we targeted each phase of the customer life cycle with different initiatives. We started with the data. we were struggling with fragmented data, incorrect, incomplete, old, not relevant, and also existing in different sources that were not connected to each other. So that was historical, and it was also due to technical debt. So the first thing I did with my team was a massive cleanup, merging the duplication and unification exercise of the customer data. In the next slide, you will see how we combine the sources to create a single customer view that is now used in our marketing automation platform. We are just starting to do our first steps in personalizing our approach and really using the data. We build a good structure, and with this new CRM solution, we had very good results. This year, we won the Customer First Marketing award for the Benelux area, and we were also invited to present our case in the Digital First event, 16th of October in Brussels. Is the biggest digital event in Belgium. Yeah, that was yeah, quite impressive for us. So this slide is just summarizing some of the results, but the full case can be found online. We were able to achieve those results using the new solution, using a good structure, a unified structure. For example, 400% more registrations in the shop. So those are the registrations for our new loyalty program. 3 times more open rate, 2 times more click to open, and 6 times more click-through rate for personalized emails. So that is actually proving a personalized communication towards our customer works much better than a generic one. And there are some other results that are just demonstrating a good structure and a more personalized approach towards the customer is the way to go to the future. That's it on my side, and let's see if we have some questions. Ben?
Ozana, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing. And we've got such little time today, and I know there's a much larger story to tell there. I love how you're thinking about, the customer lifestyle, and not just, a customer journey, a purchase journey, and kind of moving away from that, that transactional relationship that you've had with the customer in the past, and you want to better understand, are they building out a baby's room and things like that, and some of the things that are going on in their life to be able to personalize your communication, and obviously that's it's really, really, really challenging to do at scale, with an organization that has 1.5 million, customers per week, I think is what I saw there earlier. So it's really difficult to do at scale. And then it's really difficult to do in an omni-channel environment, and with a presence in multiple countries, and dozens of stores in each country, where you've got folks that are shopping at multiple stores, and decentralized data systems and things like that. So obviously it takes quite a bit of ongoing transformation to get to that point, and you've had so much success. So again, I really want to congratulate you on that. I mean, just a job really, really well done. I'm so impressed. I do have a few of my own questions. I'm going to start with a few questions to kick things off. I'm sure our audience might have a question or two, so I'm going to keep my eyes on that in case any questions come in here. So we've moved here to the live Q&A part of the webinar before we wrap up today. Try to keep it to about 7 minutes, and The first few questions that I have here are about the data. And again, such great recognition, the digital first event and customer first marketing award and things like that. So again, really, really great job there. So my question to you, Ozana, my first question is, at the end of the day, thinking about the context of customer data and this migration project, to you, what is data quality and why is it important?
Well, there are many opinions and definitions regarding data quality, and we can find online a lot of different ways of defining data quality. But for me, there are really three dimensions. There is the state of completeness of your data, completeness and consistency. How complete is your data? How much do you know about your customer, in my case? There is the state of accuracy and recency. Is the data recent and relevant for its purpose? And there is the third one, the usability. Is the data accessible and easy to use for the intended purpose? Because if you have only one of the three or two of the three, it's not good enough. Your data can be complete, correct, recent, but if you cannot use it in a proper way, it doesn't produce the result you're expecting. So the three dimensions are very important when you look at managing the customer relationship. Data quality is important, of course, for analytics, but it's especially important when you're in a customer-facing environment. When you communicate to your customer, you cannot use incorrect profile data to address your customer because you can push the customer away and you can also generate a negative image of your brand. So actually, all three dimensions should be completed, should be at a higher level, let's say.
I agree with you on that. And yeah, obviously a lot of different business initiatives out there, different purposes and, data and different, different levels of, readiness for the business, for those business purposes, of course. But I think that's a great definition: completeness, accuracy, recency, and usability. And we know that, duplicate data is always a problem, and it's worse when integrating data from multiple disparate data sources. And like many of our clients, I believe you started with profiling and probably doing, a little bit of cleanup, but I believe, before you could really, get to the point that you could feel sure about the level of completeness, accuracy, recency, and usability of the data, as you mentioned kind of on the slide earlier, one of your first tasks was really joining or integrating or matching and merging and doing some additional analysis of all of this disparate and kind of duplicate data from all of these different systems. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, we looked at everything that we had and how usable it was, how recent it was, how complete it was, that data. Then we put the information together and we noticed that we had a lot of duplicates. So from that step forward, we decided to create a single customer view where we have unique profiles per customer that contain different type of profile information.
That's great. And it's really, in my experience, it's really one of the most common first steps, right? I mean, if you have, tons of duplicate data, like most companies do, be it in a single system or across a variety of systems, it's hard. You've got, let's just say the same customer A, exists in multiple systems, and each system, could potentially, contain valuable and unique information that other systems don't contain, and a customer profile from one system might be, seriously outdated, whereas, another customer profile from another system might be more up to date and have more accurate information and things like that. So a lot of, in my experience, what I've seen is, it's almost impossible to see that complete picture, and to know whether or not you have complete and accurate and recent and usable data until you do that matching and until you find out what you're really working with there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. So next question here. A study by McKinsey says that digital transformation success is twice as likely when business users are empowered by self-service, low-code or no-code business tools. Ozana, in your case, why did you choose to purchase a solution instead of doing the data cleanup some other way?
Well, in our case, as I was mentioning before, we were having some challenges with fragmented data, complex environment. So we used the software to help us speed up the process, and also because of the volume of data that we had and the different sources. The other way would have been to try to redo semi-manual exercise that some tools are already having in algorithms instead of leveraging that in our advantage. So we decided to go for a tool that can help us speed up the process, and that also gave us the possibility to focus on implementing and customizing our marketing automation tool instead of being stuck on data. So yeah,
that's great.
Two advantages in one.
That's great. Well, and in your mind, looking back at this, obviously, 2 years into it at this point, kind of a twofold question: is there a better way to do it, and how do you feel about the return on investment there?
Well, if I'm looking back at the challenges and the time that we invested, the amount of work and the result, I think the results and the return of investment are quite impressive, even better than what we expected. I mentioned before we won some prizes, and we participated with our case in the biggest event in Belgium, digital event. We were not expecting that. It was just part of our work, but it went quite well, and the results were very good.
That's great. I'm really happy for you. I mean, it's such a great story to tell, and I know there's so much more to it. It's such a larger story than what we've been able to cover today. But we're about at the half-hour mark here, so I want to stop there. And Ozana, thank you again so much for joining me today and sharing your story. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. I also want to turn it back to you so you can say a few words. But before I do that, I just want to make sure that I do let everybody know over the next few weeks here, we're going to take a step back from the webinars. We're going to analyze some of the data, some of the suggestions that are coming in and things like that. For those of you who may have suggestions for future topics, please let us know. If you have any interest in joining us for a webinar, I'd be happy to have that conversation. Please get in touch, but also keep an eye out for our YouTube channel. All of these recordings can be found there. But again, I really appreciate everyone's interest. Ozana, you're the best. I really appreciate you joining us today. Ozana, do you have anything to add before we wrap up here today?
No, not much to add. It's just an honor to join this webinar. It's a very interesting topic. Thank you for inviting me, and I want to thank all the participants, all the people that are listening. So thank you.
Great. That's great. Well, thank you, Ozana. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Have a great rest of your week, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.